Καλησπέρα σας, καλοί φίλοι τηλεθεατές. Good evening to you. Welcome to our program Faces, Πρόσωπα. I have to turn to English again. Well, good evening, Mr. Michael Redwood.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Welcome to Hellenic TV.
Thank you very much indeed.
And welcome to Faces.
Thank you.
It's a very interesting subject. We're going to talk about it. But before we go to the subject, which is the film Katherine of Alexandria, I want to find out about you, more about you, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
And
that's
I like traveling back to the future.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you born? And can I say why?
I can't understand why.
I'm only joking.
In Liverpool, they breed very quickly. Yeah.
Where did you born? You born in England?
Yes, I was near Liverpool. Yes.
Near Liverpool.
Yes.
And you studied there? You grew up there and all this? Or?
Yeah, in Liverpool, it was either football or music. So you'll see that it's one or the other. So with me, it was music. And
either it was Beatles, or
yes.
either it was who is coming from? Who is the famous?
Well, you get a lot of obviously you've got the football, but what would happen is with the music, there was what you call northern soul music, which was all of the African American, the black music was coming through Liverpool. So you had hundreds of bands, and you had Percy Sledge and Fats Domino and Wilson Pickett and Diana Ross, and in London they were listening to Cliff Richard.
Yes.
We were listening to The Temptations and James Brown.
Okay.
And we would go to the docks where the ships came in, and they would bring pirate records from America, and we would borrow these records and hand them around, and this is where Northern Soul came from.
Okay.
From Liverpool. It was all
interesting. That's good. And you
Mm.
grew up there, obviously. You study and all this. You've been to university there or in London?
I studied textiles.
Okay.
Well, it's never done me any good, but I can tell you what you're wearing and when it was made.
Okay. All right then. Let's go into the, filmmaking.
Yeah.
You started as a producer or?
I worked in a recording studios, several in Liverpool, and I realised that when I was recording music, I started to write my own music, and then I was adding sound effects. So halfway through a ballad, you would hear a machine gun. And I thought, I'm in the wrong business, because I love to put sound effects onto music, and I realised that films...
They have the sound effects on this.
That's where I was heading all the time. Okay. I just didn't make the connection at the time. But films has always been there. But interestingly enough, when I was 4 years of age, I had a picture of a Mediterranean lady with long dark hair. And I kept this as a boy. And I used to sleep with it and have it under my pillow, and I had it for years until it fell to pieces in my fingers. And I never knew what this lady was, but she was Mediterranean and she had long black hair.
Yes.
And I still remember that took me all the way through to making Katherine.
Oh my God.
And I don't know why.
So that's why you made Katherine. I mean, you shall I ask you? You wrote the script, or?
Yeah.
So you wrote the script. You did some research.
A lot of research.
Lots of research. You had to travel and all this.
Yeah.
How long you spent researching and preparing the script?
8 years, I think.
8 years.
Maybe longer. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who was person responsible for the finance?
For the finance?
8 years, yes.
For financing the film?
Financing your research, your preparations and all this?
Well, as Carol says, if you believe you can do it, just do it. There's a great expression which comes from, I think it would be from Socrates. I think he says, doubt kills more dreams and ambition
Μάλιστα.
than failure.
Sorry, I say μάλιστα in Greek, yes. Yes, I was supposed to say yes, yes.
I think it's a great doubt will kill more dreams than failure.
Not failure, yes.
So if you attempt it and you fail,
Yes.
at least you know you tried. Whereas if you doubt yourself, you will kill all your dreams. And I've
If you're
always
not sure and you're not, you know,
So that's always stuck with me. Doubt will kill more dreams than failure. And so I started to read Socrates.
Okay.
From there on, and and then that led me down the path to Catherine.
Katherine.
And then things start to connect. Why I have this small picture of this lady.
Ah, okay, from 4 years old.
Yeah, from 4 years old. I can remember that picture.
So that was a dream, you know, and you managed to fulfill your dream.
Yeah.
By going through all this research and writing the script and making the film.
Yeah, I think I've got, there's a love of the Greek people. If you look at what Greece has done for the world, I look at Greece now and I feel I want to go over there and fight the battles, because if you look at, even as a Christian, you look at the Bibles and you had Hebrew, you had Aramaic, but and Rome, when they gave birth to Christianity and made it legal, they used Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they use Latin? Because Greek was the language of the scholars. Greek was the language. And if you look at what Greece has given to the world over thousands of years, and now people are reaching back. You go into your local Asda's, you'll see vinyl records.
Yes.
If you look at microwave cookers, they're going back to the 70s. People are reaching back because things are overloading. Mm-hmm. And I think that this trend to keep reaching back will make us value the Greek histories.
Yeah.
And I think, so for me, the film, in my mind, is just a reference to say, hang on a second, remember where your Christianity came from. Remember how it arrived. Without Catherine, without people like her, we wouldn't have a Bible. There would be nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give us a story. I mean, give us a synopsis of a story so our audience know what we're talking about.
The story is in real life, historically. If you look at the Renaissance paintings, look at all the famous paintings of the Madonna and Jesus and Mary. There are something like 500. And there's a second woman with Mary and the baby, and that's Catherine. If you look at the Sistine Chapel, on the ceiling, you've got Catherine with the wheel. But Pope Gregory, I think it was, didn't agree with women being powerful, so he had it painted over. And that same painting, you'll see, is now a man holding the wheel with big muscles. Yeah. And the story is that tracing back to who was the very first person to give us our Christianity. And that was Catherine. And the people who say she did not exist, and a lot of them do, you think there's no smoke without fire. And so many people are fighting to say that she didn't exist, but in fact, St. Catherine's Monastery is the source of where we were all given our Bibles from. And that's where the books were taken, the Greek books, and the Bible was taken from those books. And there are 4 books. They were put back in the monastery, but the British stole one, which is in the British Museum. They'll give it back one day. And so for me, the source of Christianity, the source of everything, goes back to this single woman who was tortured and beheaded or crucified, whichever, because she would not give in to her quest, which is again what the barbarian women in this film that we've done, they are fighting to keep them alive. They're fighting the Romans. So for me, that was the quest, to go back to the beginning and say, where did it all start? And it all points to Catherine. And my concern now is for the monastery, St. Catherine's Monastery of Mount Sinai. It's the oldest monastery in existence. St. Catherine is a saint to Muslims. It's protected by the Muslims. And that monastery has got the oldest artifacts and the oldest books in Christendom. So it's got to be preserved. And this film can just draw some attention to this and keep the monastery protected, then it's done its job. So it was a guided mission. And I didn't worry about the money. We needed 3 million. I didn't worry about it. I didn't worry about it at all.
Did you manage to get finance, easy for that?
I knew we wouldn't, so we did it reverse. I always look at a disadvantage and I turn it into an advantage. I'll say, well, if you're in a house and you're decorating and you have an ugly pipe sticking out of the ground that cannot be moved, then I will say, well, let's make the pipe into a feature. And so we thought, we'll give the script to the actors first, and if they like it, then people won't argue with giving us the money. So that's how. So we sent it to Peter OToole and to Edward Fox and all the others, and they said, this is great, let's do it.
They liked
immediately,
the script,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, Peter said, if anybody changes the script, and I should have listened, Peter said, if anybody changes the script or even adds a full stop, shoot them with my permission. And that's what we've done. So it was good that he loved the story.
So Peter OToole managed to finish the film, yes?
Yes.
And then he died.
Yeah.
How many, well-known actors are you using? Who are they?
Stephen Burkoff, Joss Ackland, Edward Fox, Sam Beckinsale, Peter OToole, Brian Blessed, the list goes on.
Okay, that's lovely. And musically, you have a friend of mine wrote the music.
Yes, that's right.
Mr. John Goutselinis.
That's right, yeah.
How you find him? Was it a competition?
I think that was an agent. We got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of music sent through, and we had some great composers. James Horner wanted to do. We had some really good composers, and I heard John's music, and I thought it was just lovely. So we called him, and we thought he was in Cyprus or somewhere, or in Greece.
He's from Greece, actually, yes.
Yeah.
But he was here. He lives in.
He lived right near the building where we were operating from.
Yes.
So the music was very, very important. But there's also 2 other composers that have written special music for the execution scene, and they are Scandinavian, Swedish composers, 2 Swedish composers as well. So there are 3 composers in all.
They're doing various pieces each.
That's right, yeah. They were commissioned to do set pieces, yeah.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the film now?
Well, the plan with this movie, this is a really exciting experiment, because the plan is this. When we saw, you would give the movie to the big distributors, like Lionsgate and Warner's or whoever. They would immediately cut up the movie, okay, until it's no longer recognised. Okay?
Why do they do that?
Because they say silly things like women don't sell in films, which is why all of the women at last year's Oscars refused to go. They were boycotting because they've got something against women actors, and they clearly have something against African American actors or black actors. So there's a big turmoil in America. Now the Americans, for instance, with St. Catherine, they insisted she should have a lover. So I said no. Now, what we decided to do is, with this movie, this is a brand new 2017 movie. The normal procedure would be, we would then give it to a panel of 100 people. They would invariably be American. They will write down what they see. With Star Wars or any movie, this is what they do. And they write down their reaction to the movie. Now, we decided we would not go down that route, because these guys can be paid to say it's a good movie, whatever.
Yeah.
So I figured that the best thing to do would, before this movie gets released to any part of the world, we would give it to you. You would put it to Greek Cypriot people, and say, right, we have taken your history. I've taken your history. If I've done a really bad thing and I've abused your history, you're going to let me know.
Yes.
You have made Greece, you've made Greek history look stupid. we don't like this movie, then you will tell me. You are far better critics. Now that way, although I've got distribution deals now waiting to be signed, I'm not going to sign any deals until I've had the feedback, which is very important. And for me, it means nobody can argue. So if you have 10 people write, we don't like this movie, or 100 or 1,000 or 5,000, I will be listening to what Greek people think of my film, our film, on Greek history.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that you'll see it, we've given it the respect and the Greek history, the respect that it deserves. Mm-hmm. And so that's the experiment. So in other words, I'm not listening to Lionsgate, I'm not listening to Warner Brothers, I'm not listening to any of the distributors in the world. I would be listening
to people, yes.
Exactly.
Greek people, yes.
The Greek people. So
exactly,
it's down to you. You can vote this film as rubbish or great or whichever. And that's this experiment. This is why I'm quite excited about this. It's the first time it's been done. Yes. That a premiere. Yes. So we're premiering the film with you.
Yes.
Before anybody in the...
Exactly, yes. Yeah. With you. I mean, you're going to see it first, okay?
So
you're going to see it first.
And then...
Even me, I'm going to wait till we show it on television.
That's right. And before... it will go out to 44, 45 countries. Yes. But not before I get the feedback from you. So... Because so many people are taking Greek history, making money, making films, and let's show some respect to the Greek people. So that's why it's really important.
I appreciate that. I mean, you know, yes. So you're going to see it first. When are we planning to show this? I mean, you know, very soon?
Yes.
Very soon. So very soon you will watch this space. You're going to see this film first. And we need your opinion. We need to have your say on that. Okay? Thank you very much. So...
can I just say one thing? All of the bad comments sent to Vasilis.
To me, yes. My telephone number?
I know the good ones sent to me.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you my telephone number at the end of the
I'll give you his personal number.
And send all the bad comments to me.
Yeah.
And I'll answer back, okay?
The abusive ones especially, all the abusive ones to him, please.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Well, I don't mind, you know what I mean? Because I love you. Mike, okay, do you have any other plans? I mean, okay, for the time being, you concentrate on that. Yeah. And it's very interesting, you know, way of dealing with that. You know what I mean? Can you show a clip? Can you show something which they're going to give us feedback even from this little bit of showing?
Yeah, I think for me the execution scene, it won't spoil the film. You can look at the last scene, but the execution scene was important because they say that Catherine was rolled down a hill on wheels. Well, we couldn't be chasing with a camera, you know, the wheel going down, you really wouldn't see much. So we were thinking about the crucifixion of Christ, and we were thinking that the Romans, they loved to hang people, whichever way. So we've done a mixture of both, of what we think would have happened to Catherine. And for me, I get moved looking at it. It's not because I'm not saying, you know, this is to the editors and the musicians, but for me, I'm hoping we got it right. It's hopefully it will be a very moving execution.
Who's playing Catherine?
Nicole Kenny-Hart.
Okay. All right. Let's go and see it and you know, get your tissues out. Okay.
Up! like Jesus, be like him.
Katharina. Katharina. Στη μάμα. Ενώ Katharina. What does it say?
That's fine. Yes, yes. Very moving. Very moving. Okay. You want to add something to this?
Yeah, I think for the older, especially the older Greek people who watch the film, they might see a lot of violence in the film, the battle scenes. But there are two things to remember is the way, if you look 2,000 years later, again, women in so many countries are being denied education and so on. And that Catherine was put to death like this. Nevertheless, the film has a very happy outcome at the end. And although you'll see the women who are violent, and they had to be as violent as the men, which again is a unique thing. For me, I've never seen women fight like they do in this movie. I've never seen that happen. They're as vicious as the men. Probably more vicious, and their job was to survive, to have babies, and to kill Romans until Catherine could be freed. That was their job: have babies and kill Romans, which is a good occupation if you can get it. You know, you save a few Romans for yourself. But I think from the scene where Catherine was put to death, that's the sad scene. But I think that again is a violent scene. But we try to do it as tastefully as possible. And the end of the movie shows the brightness of what she achieved.
Yes.
So we wanted to make the movie uplifting at the end.
Okay, lovely. Which locations did you use?
That was Cyprus. Yeah, we tried Morocco,
Yeah.
and we tried some in Malta. We went to different places around Europe, and Cyprus and Pinewood Studios. A lot of it was done at Pinewood and in the forests in England.
Yeah.
Which was a nightmare because we had to guess the weather and but mainly all of the Mediterranean scenes were shot in Cyprus.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've got great help.
And you used quite a few people, yes? I mean,
We did indeed. Cyprus crews were great.
Yes.
They were just, and the actors.
And the actors, yes,
yeah.
yes.
You see a lot of Greek names in the credit.
Yes,
It was just great.
Thousands of people you used, yes?
Not so overall from beginning to end.
Yeah,
It might have hit 1,000, but on average there would be 150, 130.
Main, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. After that, what's happening? Do you have any other plans? Anything in mind? Writing a new script?
Yeah, we have a new one. The trailer can be seen. That's. I don't want to make a film with a point to the film. I can't be bothered making films that are just a film. And the next one is a child of 11 who's kidnapped in South America for. They would kidnap them, and sadly they would use them for sex. And then when they were infected, which they invariably did, they would then cut body parts and sell those. And it's a huge. I think it's a $7 billion industry, body parts. And one of these children, 11-year-old girl, she escapes, and she's protected by a friend of mine who played. I don't know if you remember The Green Mile, the film. With Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Yeah, and the nasty little guy, the guard, with Tom Hanks, his co-actor, is Doug Hutchison. And Doug will be playing a science professor, a computer professor, who teaches this girl about computers and quantum physics.
So you already...
It's done, the script is done, that's... And she then produces a computer program that will track down all child traffickers on the planet. And this thing... Good. So it's like a Born Identity type film. It's a high action film. And no child trafficker can escape her computer program. It will track them down.
And when are you planning to film it?
We've done the screenplay. You got to do the screenplay and the budget and the permissions and so on and so forth.
And
so
then you cast it on.
The cast, a lot of the cast have been lined up already. Again, some really powerful actors, really great actors. And then it's a case of now finding what budget we need and how to raise that budget, where the source comes from, etc. Basically, if you get the budget from America, the conditions are much more tight.
Tight, yes.
From Europe, a little more freedom, and so it goes. You know.
Okay.
So that's the next project. The trailer's already done as well.
Yes, lovely.
For that
That's good. That's good. I'm looking forward to audition for that. You know, I heard that there's a small part.
Yes.
Someone play a little part. You know, just say hello and.
The mafia boss.
Mafia boss.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes.
The mafia.
Okay, because I want to go to Hollywood. You know. Yes.
Oh, Hollywood. Oh.
Yes. Even Holloway, I don't mind.
Well, my German. I've got a colleague, a German chap called Christian Peston, who's a Hollywood producer, and he's moved to Geneva. He's moved
Geneva.
From Hollywood. He's been there 25
Geneva,
years.
Yes.
And he's moved from Hollywood to Geneva. And he said it took him 3 weeks to stop shaking.
Oh my God.
Because you can't have the windows open because there's police and helicopters and police and sirens, and it's just a madhouse. So he's now in Geneva, and it's a lot more peaceful.
Anyway, thank you very much, Michael, for talking to us. And I wish you all the best with both projects. First of all, looking forward to see the film on Hellenic TV very soon, and looking forward to hear the comments from our listeners.
That's the key thing. It's strange that I'm so nervous about this, because I would be as nervous with a Greek family around a table watching the movie.
Yes.
I would wait for the grandmother to go, and that will tell me a lot. So it's important. I'm getting genuine opinions from genuine people, and Hollywood and the distributors cannot stop me, which is great, because we have control over this. And their opinions matter.
That's all right. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now, I have to say thank you to our sponsors as well. Say good evening to Dr. Vasilis Mavros, and thank you very much for sponsoring our show. And I wish you all the best for business, Varosi Lettings. And thank you again. And thank you for watching. And me and you are going to be again together next Sunday, same time, just a little bit later than 8 o'clock, with a new face or faces. Till then, look after yourselves, and see you soon. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you very much.